In this video, I wanted to just share some of the things that I'm doing to prepare some of my launches for next year. So the way I publish books is backwards. It's kind of weird, but I'll start with wonderful art. So I found this amazing artist who made this cover. I haven't decided on a title yet. All I really have is the art. I've already kind of mapped out the plot for the story, so I kind of know what the story is about already. And I've picked all of the super popular subjects that are hot on Amazon that are selling really well. But I still need to do keyword research and find out exactly what categories I'm going to put it in, because even choosing the title and the subtitle or the series tagline, I want to make sure I use as many popular keywords as possible to get it to have more visibility, because that's just going to make an easy sale. So you want the right keywords to get more visibility. You want an amazing cover that appeals to the target audience. And then you need a really powerful blurb and a story that's written to market, which means it's the type of story that's going to really satisfy readers. So I tend to write, I write books that are similar to what's already out there and what's already popular, but also kind of everything put together in a different way. So there's a really unique story that still has common elements readers are familiar with. So I start with the cover. My stories tend to come from the covers, but let me go on to Amazon, and I was just looking through Amazon to find some keywords and categories. This is mostly urban fantasy stuff, and my book, even though it's kind of epic fantasy-ish in that I'm going to have swords and angels and dragons and stuff, it's more urban fantasy because it's kind of the other kind of trope that sells really well is the academy trope, where someone goes to magic school and learns how to be something. So in my book, she's kind of like a demon hunter at an angel school, and they're descended from angels, and they're all learning how to fight. They evolve and they get all these superpowers, and then she finds out special things about her that turn her into the enemy, and her school has to hunt her down, and she's on the run. So that's kind of what mine's about. It's kind of werewolves and shifters, but it's kind of urban fantasy. It's kind of epic fantasy. So I could go in here and click on any of these categories, and I could go up to one of the tools that I have, which is kdspy, and that should give me some information. I haven't used it for a while, but it should tell me. Nope, it didn't. Let me try again. Anyway, kdspy is usually good for looking at a whole category and finding some keywords. So I could use it to see, it'll basically look at all the titles and the keywords of a certain genre, and then it'll just kind of tell me what's average, what's happening. I'll try it one more time. For example, and if it doesn't work, then that's too bad. I have other tools. Okay, so this time it's giving me some information about the bestsellers in this category, what they're priced at, the average sales, the monthly revenue. So A.G. Riddle's book is making a ton of money, but then it drops down from there. So unless you're in the top 20 of a category, or even if you're in the 20th slot in this category, that's only about 6,000 a month, which is significant. So if you can get in the top 20 of this category, that's great. Even if you could get into the top, let's go down a little further. Anyway, it's kind of a useful tool. It kind of just tells, I can look at different categories and see which categories I want to be in and what my chances are and how high I would need to get to rank well and to earn money. So even if I was like 50th in this category, I would still be doing pretty well. A couple thousand a month on a book is great. That's definitely what I will want to aim for, although I'm not actually in this category, but I'm going to go up here to word cloud, because this is a cool feature with kdspy also, is that you can click word cloud and it will tell me the common words that are used in that category, for any category. So let me see if I can do one more. Fantasy. If I can find an urban fantasy book. Witches and Wizards is a little closer. Some of these other categories would be closer. Oops. So if I go into Witches and Wizards and I try the Kindle Spy tool again, this is a little closer to where my book will be, hopefully. So this time, these are the urban fantasy ones, or sorry, the Witches and Wizards category, which is still pretty good, but interestingly, it seems like the revenue drops a lot faster. There's a bunch of books here that are in the 2000s in the top 20, which is kind of good because that's that means that it might be easier for me to break in. These are all, I mean, you have to be in the top 1000. I've had books in the top 500 before. It's not easy, but I think I'm writing more popular stuff with better covers now. So, and I'm titling them well. I made the mistake when I first launched my first 5 books or so where I just picked titles I thought were cool or clever. I didn't really do the keyword research that I should have done, which is why I'm really doing it well this time. So, in this keyword cloud, I can find castle, and I would want to be just making note of these. Dragon is a huge one, so I would write down dragon. Shade would be clever because actually shade is Shade of Vampire, so people are searching for Bella Forest's Shade of Vampire, but if I had shade in the title, that might actually help my series out. Magician is popular. Sorceress is popular. I wanted to use Assassin, but I'm not sure if Assassin is very popular. Castle. Paranormal, but you can't really put it in there. Stranger, Dark, Mage. Those are some things that I could use. Shadows, Immortal. So this is just kind of quick keyword research. These are the things that I would want to put in my titles and in my taglines or subtitles or series titles, which is in there. Anyway, so that's a good start. I'll also look for categories and write down the categories that I want to be in. I'll show you what I'm doing in my notepad over here. But the other tool I'm using a lot is KDP Rocket, which looks like this. And it's pretty nice because it'll give me more specific details. So I've already gone through and looked for a lot of these words. So I can tell that dragons is getting more estimated Amazon searches per month than angels or assassins or other keywords. So I can kind of just, and you have to be careful too because angel looks like it has a lot of keywords, but that could mean that they're searching for nonfiction stuff like how to talk with angels. Those kind of books sell really well. So I don't want to assume that just because people are searching for angels and they find my book that that'll be really popular in my categories. However, mine is kind of a very solid angel-based series, so I'm thinking about calling it Angel Assassin series or something like that, even though those two probably aren't the strongest keywords. They're still pretty good positioners because the contrast between angel and assassin already has a lot of built-in conflict, which will hook intrigue, so it's a good series title. But for my main titles, I want to pick bigger keywords. Probably not fantasy because I couldn't really fit it into the title. I was going to check out swords or sorcery or magic. Should be a pretty popular one. And then I'm just making a list. And so out of that list of keywords, I'll have at least, this series I'm working on, actually I plan to have 7 books altogether, but I'd like to get started with the first 3 and get them up so that book one comes out and the next book is up on pre-order, and maybe the next book is up on pre-order. That not only forces me to write quickly and get it done, but also you'll make a lot more money if you can be selling book 1 and if people are buying through to book 2 or book 3, even though it's not ready yet, it's still earning money, and you can spend more money on ads to boost the first book. So that's kind of my process. I'm really excited about the books that I'm launching in 2018 because even though my books have done okay for my first year or two of fiction, I've still been making a lot of mistakes, and I'm kind of at the point now where I'm going to get just about everything right the first time, which means it's going to be a lot easier to launch books and have them start earning money pretty quickly, and potentially a significant amount of money. I mean, if you can earn $1,000 a month from a book, and you put out 10 books a year, which is possible if you're writing shorter books and longer series. Shorter books of like 40 or 50K. Mine previously were like 150K, and I didn't know where to break the story, or it was just one long novel, and then it was hard to market. So if you can break it down into smaller pieces and longer stories, that tends to work better. So instead of having like a 250,000 word novel or trilogy, I could break it into 7 books and just have shorter pieces and end on a cliffhanger. Readers don't mind cliffhangers so much as long as they can get the next book quickly. They don't like waiting, but if the book's all available or it's all up on pre-order, you won't see as much resistance. As long as if they want more of the book, that's a big win for you. Like if they read it and they like it and they want to keep reading it, they won't mind paying a couple dollars to get the next installment. So it's not really, and actually it can be better to end on a cliffhanger, because then they will buy the next one to keep reading. It can be tricky, and readers say they don't like them, but they do work, and they tend to earn more money. So that's why I'm gonna try to do several long series next year. I have a 7-book series and a 5-book series, and then some other more general kind of urban fantasy stuff. All are going to be very commercial, really hard hitting the tropes, still telling stories that are hopefully better than anybody else is telling. My readers seem to be really happy with the stories I'm putting out, and I know that I can get better, so I'm excited about improving my craft and providing better reading experiences, but also writing the kind of books that are going to earn a lot of money, because it's a lot more satisfying when lots of readers are reading your book and you're earning a living from your writing, so you can kind of just spend your time writing more books instead of worrying about the marketing. 95% of book marketing is really just the product, how the product fits the market, how much demand there is for your product, how well you package it, the titles, the keywords, the cover, the description, but then also the story that you're telling. That's gonna be almost all of your marketing. If you get that stuff right, you're gonna have to work so much less hard to get traction. The reason it seems like publishing is really difficult is that a lot of authors are writing books that are either deliberately avoiding tropes, or they just never really cared about finding out what's actually popular and trying to write a book that readers like. Most authors are in it to write books that they enjoy, or they write for themselves so that they can find their passion or their pleasure because it's their hobby or whatever. If you write that kind of book, that's totally fine. It's just going to be a lot more work when you try to market it, and probably more difficult to earn a living from your writing. So I hope this video worked. I might leave links somewhere for KDP Rocket and kdspy. Maybe below this video on Amazon. I'm not quite sure if I can do that. So you can check out those tools if you want to use them. Also, actually, before I go, the other thing I was doing yesterday was this Amazon keyword search. So Amazon ads are really great, but you need a big list of potential keywords. So yesterday I made a list of about 2,000 keywords, and all you have to do is search for some famous author. This is just the first one that comes into my head. Go get 'em Rocket, and it will give you a list of similar keywords based around that author. It has the author name, it has the books, but then it will also recommend other similar authors and similar books. And so I did this for probably 50 different authors, and I had a big list. I had multiple lists, and then I just put them all together into one massive Excel spreadsheet. And now I have a really big keyword list. With Amazon ads, you want to just test everything, because you don't really know what's going to sell well. So you want to just test all the keywords and see which keywords perform best for you, which ones get the most visibility for the less cost, and then boil that list down to your top performing keywords and try using that in Amazon ads. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.